Welcome to What Ha Happened, the podcast where we talk about our latest chismes,
or gossip with you non-Spanish speaking folks,
crazy travel stories, hood memoirs, and food and wine.
This is an adult podcast,
so some of our topics may make our listeners a wee bit uncomfortable.
Listener discretion is advised.
And if you're of legal drinking age,
grab a glass of wine
or a beverage of your choice and enjoy the show.
I just wanted to say you look amazing, and I was going to ask you if you could stay in makeup and we can do actually a show like this. And then so when I see your thing,
that's
I was
why,
like, oh shit, yeah.
That's why I messaged you and said like, hey, let's record today, because I really liked how I did my face today. For those of you guys that are looking.
There she is.
I'm zooming in on my face. Yeah. So, I mean, I did my own makeup. And so I was actually really proud of it because Friday's makeup was like, I looked kind of like Darth Maul. I was like, okay, like that's not what I was supposed to look like, but whatever. I don't normally paint my face like this, so
So can you tell us a little something about why your face is painted the way it is and what's going on?
So for the so I have half of my face painted on the right side, and it's a Catrina. And the reason I had this painted because I had a performance today. Well, almost every day of this week I've had one. And so, it's all been Dia de los Muertos event, like Day of the Dead event, and events with S plurals.
And for those of you who don't know, can you explain what Day of the Dead events are and what culture it's lies in the Mexican culture? And it's on November 2nd, if I'm not mistaken. And we celebrate our dead, we remember them, remember those spirits, remember the people. And unlike Halloween, Lala, you could probably explain this better than I, but unlike Halloween, where it's kind of like I don't know what you would call Halloween versus a Dia de los Muertos, but hey, explain that to us. What is the difference between Dia de los Muertos and Halloween? Because it is very different. So take it away.
Okay, so Dia de los Muertos is basically in Mexican culture. I'm not sure if other cultures do it too. But we just celebrate the people, our loved ones who have passed, our ancestors, or like this came about because they like kind of laughed at death, like kind of a mockery of the dead. And then if we celebrate the dead people, then like death doesn't win. You know what I mean? Like kind of like that. So instead of mourning your loved ones, actually what you do is you celebrate them. You make this into an event where death doesn't win. Like death, even though death took away your loved one, you celebrate it. That's why we paint our faces, because we're just kind of like just like, well, we're not afraid of dying, you know what I mean, kind of giving death that mentality, like, no, we're not afraid of you, so we're gonna celebrate the dead. We're gonna celebrate our loved ones, and that is like a way of us remembering them in a more positive way, instead of being depressed and crying and stuff. If you put an altar, so what we do is put up an altar with ofrendas. So these are like little trinkets that particular person liked. So for one of my I had to put 2 altars because I have a lot of pets to put up. And so in the other altar that's on top of my refrigerator, I put like the Mexican Coca-Cola, like a little one, because that's what my friend loved drinking. And so, and then on the other one that I have over here, I put like, well, in all of them they have flowers, but like my friend love to pick just flowers from anywhere. And so then I just put those there. And, you put a candle on and you just, just celebrate their life instead of mourning their death. You know what I mean? I think that's more what it is. So if
Right,
that
right.
made any sense.
Well, versus Halloween, where
Oh,
Halloween you're kind of like it.
ye-
So what's that? Is it the Wiccans or like what is it like? What kind of? It's a pagan kind of thing, no? Is that
I
where it
mean,
roots
are you
from?
talking about what it is now? Because what it is now is just going to a club or trick or treating, getting
Commercialism.
some, yeah,
Yeah.
and it's just like dressing up like a slutty kitten, a slutty nun, slutty nurse, slutty, I mean that's what it is now, but that is the difference of I think
Yeah.
Halloween is just, where people can go wild, and just and be like another person completely, and incorporate like the character of their costume, which I think actually is really cool. Like that's what I love about Halloween is just that you can be like a totally different person for one day and it's totally acceptable.
This is Richmo.
Oh, yeah, and this is Lala, and this is
Uh,
what happened podcast.
uh, what happened? And what happened? This is a what happened
Yeah.
podcast.
So what
Uh,
happened? Yeah, yeah. Anyway, yeah,
so you
introductions.
so you,
That's right.
so you got to perform like every day this past week. So that's kind of cool. Were you doing different kind of dances for different events, or is there a certain kind of Dia de los Muertos dance or choreography you guys follow, or is it kind of like every day,
Nope,
every show
just
different?
just mariachi music. But it was the entire dance company, which I am part of, Folklorico Revolucion, based out of City Terrace.
And would that
Um,
be folklorical revolution in English for those of you who don't get that?
oh yeah, folklorical
Folklorical
for
revolution.
I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
Oh wow. I think it
I
sounds better
never
in
I
Spanish, by
never
the way.
thought about it in English. That's why I'm like, oh, I
Well, I
don't
know that's why I was like, oh,
know.
we're a bilingual
Yeah.
podcast, so
Yeah,
but
sorry, folks.
I'll help those along the way here. I mean, that was an easy one. It sounds
But
almost English.
so what we had the entire cast, from the little children, like these the little 3-year-olds and 5-year-olds, like, oh my God, they're the cutest. I love looking at kids dance because they're just so like like just they look like little monitos dressed up, just doing weird things. And like you try to give them a choreo, but they're gonna be totally out of sync. And that's the beauty of it. Like that's what I love about looking at the little
They're
children
just
dance.
everybody's doing your own thing, huh?
Yeah. It's so uncoordinated. I love it. I love it so much. I
Hey, but in their heads, they're probably doing the best they're doing, right?
Yes.
Like they're just like going
No,
off.
and some of them like are like little divas, and I was just like, damn, I love it. Like, they really take their dancing seriously, and they really, like, I don't know, it's just, to me, it's the cutest motherfucking thing ever.
Wow, I mean that would be a sight to see. You wouldn't have, would you have like, would there be any videos? You probably need to get a thing to show those kids dance, but I think that would be
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
everybody right now is because in the group chats, they're submitting in the WhatsApp all the videos and pictures that. So I'll receive them throughout the night.
Well, maybe we can get some in your
Yeah.
company and we should add it. Like, well, as we're speaking, we'll pepper these in so you can actually see a Lala in action with her group. But it'll
It
be kind of
was
fun.
it was actually I had so much fun at this event. It was like at a swap meet kind of place, like in
Oh, which
in
swap meet?
Anaheim somewhere.
Ah,
Like
like Santa Fe Springs swap meet, by the way.
no, it's called Anaheim Marketplace. Yeah.
Oh, an Anaheim Marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it's called.
I mean, I
And
had my fair share of swap meets growing up, but I've never been to the Anaheim swap meet. I think that's a little too far.
I didn't know that swap meets were still like a thing. I haven't seen one since I was like in junior high. So like I thought it was like they had become extinct, like, but it's an indoor
Uh,
swap meet. It's an indoor swap meet.
ah,
Yeah, it's an
no.
indoor.
That's
And so I
weird.
was
I
like,
mean, I
oh
didn't know
shit. Yeah, I didn't
there
know
used to be
that
a
this.
lot. There used to be a lot more indoor swap meets in around the area, but they're quite popular. You know, I guess in Mexico you would call it a tianguis. You know,
Tianguis.
uh,
Un
a
tianguis.
tianguis, and in you know, and it's basically a farmer's market and anything else you want to sell.
Yeah.
But here in the LA
Oh
County area,
yeah,
I'm
that's what it
sure,
would be. Yeah, it's a farmer's
yeah,
market. Yeah.
here you have
Yeah.
farmers markets and no other thing. But in Mexico, it's the farmers market and everything else. So you can get clothes or whatever anybody's selling, you can probably get it all in one place.
Mm.
So here you have the swap meet in certain areas like Santa Fe Springs, Paramount. I guess there's still some swap meets that still happen. And then, but I don't know if you
Apparently.
get produce there, but you get like pants, shoes, like whatever anybody's got to sell.
And
It's
they
kind of,
buy gold there.
and they buy gold,
There was a booth that
apparently.
says compramos oro. I'm like,
Bring
okay.
your gold. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Ponyo
pretty
shit.
amazing. I've had a swap meet experience when I was a kid. I mean, my father used to sell stuff on the weekends at swap meets. So we go every once in a while, and I remember he had belt buckles, knives, and all kinds of like weird shit. But we would do that from time to time and go and sell stuff at swap meets. So I've had my time at swap meets and plants and all kinds of stuff. But you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. But you know, for any business entrepreneur, I guess you got to start somewhere, you know, even if it is a swap meet, because people do walk by and you have your chance to sell your wares. So that's
And
cool.
it was actually like pretty packed, and like they had an outside area and they had like a stage, and the stage, oh my God, it was such a nice stage, like a wooden stage. So then you can really
Oh,
hear our taconazos, like you can really hear him. Like it was so
hey,
sharp and clear. I was like, fuck yes, I love this
hey.
stage.
So what do you mean taconazos? I mean, are you like serving tacos or can you? I think you're speaking in a different language here. Wait, what do you
Oh,
mean taconazos?
so
Are you guys
taconazo.
crunching tacos?
No, no, no. And tacón is the heel of the shoe. And so our shoes have nails on the tip and on the heel. And so
Like a tech
basically,
dancer.
yeah, well, like kind of like a flamenco. So
Hmm.
imagine flamenco dancers. So I mean, it comes from, because we were colonized by the Spaniards. So it comes from, their like flamenco, like the sound, like but it's also influenced, with like the German population who brought over the oompa oompa oompa, and that's
The
how
polka music.
the polka music. So that's how bandas were
Mm.
created, in Mexico. And so it's just a mixture um of that. And but what we do with our shoes and the sound is we make the percussion to the mariachi music. You know what
Mm.
I mean? So with your feet. So everybody has to be in sync at, like, everybody has to be making that same sound. Otherwise you can hear it. And especially when you have like the stage that we had today, which is all wood, it's like fucking, the sound is clear and sharp as fuck. So if you fuck up, people will hear it. You know what I mean? So
Mm.
everybody has to be like on point. But
Wow.
like that's why I love this place. Like I was like, oh my
So
God, this is the best fucking
what
uh
I
floor
never
I've
thought of
danced
you.
on.
Well, that I'm just thinking that when you saw that floor, you were thinking of it as an instrument, or like a good pairing for your other instrument, which is
Yep.
your tacones, your shoes.
Yeah, los
So
tacones.
you need the like, you know, it's
So
like a perfect pairing.
tacones means heels. But I mean they're not like,
They're
stiletto
not
heels.
tacos.
They're not stiletto heels. It's, it's a thick heel with, with the nails in the bottom so that we make the sound. Like it
Mm.
amplifies the sound. And it was so clear and it was jam packed. Like this place was full and it was like a very Mexican event. Oh my God. And they also, like, before us, they had some Native American dancers. That was amazing. Like I took videos of that. Like I was just so, I love going to like the Native American dances, like where they do their powwows and stuff. I find it like it makes me want to cry every time I hear the sounds, like the cryings of like like the warrior singing. Like it makes me want to cry. I don't know why, but it does. Like I just feel like I connect so deep. I don't know. It was just so beautiful. So I guess it put me like in a very good place to hear their chants and dances, and then for us to go after them. Like it kind of set like a very positive vibe. I don't know. It just a very like cultural, heavy, positive vibe. I
Let,
don't know. It felt
let me
amazing.
ask you, do you have a connection with, like, because I know that there's like folkloric dancing, but then there's like, you have a connection to like the Native American Indians. I mean, they have their own dances and stuff. Like, I mean, there's similarities, isn't there? I mean, what kind of similarities are there? So I think it's, you know,
if
a
you've
tribal
seen
thing in a way,
if
right?
you've seen las danzas aztecas, the Aztec dancing, it's basically the same thing as the Native American, I mean, not basically, but very, very, very similar, but in the Aztec dances, they se ponen sonajas in the ankles. So every time sonajas is
Shells.
the the
Oh,
¿cómo se llama? Una
kind of
sonaja.
like bells or kind of something to.
Hold on.
Oh, they're kind of like these things to make noise. So
Yeah,
instead of
and,
your
and,
tacos,
and it's like
you're making like a
yeah. So they put
yeah.
them around their ankles, so then every time they dance, like every time they step, the sound is
Oh
like
boy, we're gonna have
every.
to we're gonna have to find a picture of that so we can show you guys what that is because
Oh
I
yeah,
think this is
yeah.
turning into a dance podcast right now. But like, let's get a little schooled. I mean, I know what it is. I've seen it plenty of times, but maybe some people really
Yeah,
haven't had a
and
chance
and
to see
and
that. But
when I was a kid, so I grew up, as you guys know, in Guadalajara, and my aunt danced she danced, at the University of Guadalajara, and she also danced in el Teatro de Gollado in the center, and so I would go see, she would dance on Sundays, like not every Sunday, but like every other, I don't know, they have like a schedule. Um, but I was like this little 5-year-old me, and I would see, the entire, I would go in the morning, like at 5 in the morning while they did the rehearsals to get ready. And then, I saw them get dressed, and then I would be in the audience when they had their show. And it made me cry every time. Like seeing, the Aztec dances just felt so like I connected with it so much. I don't know why, or it's not like I grew up, you know,
an Aztec warrior
yeah,
princess
like I grew up in a motherfucking city, you know what I mean? With like things, But for
with not
some reason,
cows.
yeah, with not cows, with cars and things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just it makes me want to cry. Like because I find it so it feels like it goes to my soul. Like the sounds and the chants and the music and the drums, and it just feels like it's part of my heart. Like it's part of my beat of my heart. Like
Mhm.
the beat of the music is part of the beat of my heart, It just
And do you feel that way when you're dancing? Like when you're dancing, it's just like when you're rhythmic, and it's just like you're all in tune with everybody. You're in a
like
trance.
a runner's high. A runner's
Hmm.
high is like when you run and you feel kind of like euphoric, you know?
Mm.
And so when I dance, I it's kind of an exchange of energy. You know how Luis was talking about it, and it's an exchange with his camera and and the person
Mm.
he's photographing. So with dance, I feel like it's the same kind of uh symbiotic relationship with the audience,
Mm.
because you come out and they cheer, and that gives us energy to put out a better show. Like then we do harder, we try harder, and then they cheer more, and so it's just like it's a reciprocative energy exchange, I guess you would say.
A give and take. They give you porras
Yes.
and cheer you on, and
Yes,
then you
yes.
dance harder and just work out harder.
And then give them a
And
better show. If you don't cheer, it like it really drains your energy, because then you're putting out more and you're not receiving any energy to replace the energy that you're putting out. So actually, for the smaller venues or like smaller events, I usually get more tired than when I do, like I dance at the crypto for like, I don't know, however many people fit
50,000
in there,
people.
50,000
Mm,
people, yeah. And like,
mm.
and I get more nervous actually at smaller events than like performing at these big venues because I can see
And they're
their
like,
faces and they're just like studying my feet, or and then they're just serious and they don't clap, and I'm just like, like it makes me think like, am I fucking up? And I
"Hmm."
get more in my head like, oh shit, nobody's clapping, they don't like this, or you start to get into your head. And so
Do you have
like
like a energy meter that goes up and down? Like the Lala energy meter. Oh,
yeah, it's like
energy meter go back up.
woo.
Yay.
So
Wow.
people, if you guys go see, and I think, but and we were in a fucking Mexican community too, so I'm like, they're loud as fuck all the time. So I'm like, why were they so quiet? Usually it happens like when we have events like where it's like white people, and because they stay quiet because that's their culture, is not to, no es de echar porras, you know what I mean? And so
Oh,
like
I think that's everybody other than the Latin community. Nobody just like, they don't know how to react or they don't know that you're supposed to
well,
give back
no, they just
energy.
stay quiet to watch and pay attention. They don't know that if you yell like, "Ow," you know what I mean? Like if you do this, like we actually appreciate when people scream and clap, and you know what I mean? Um, yeah. So
Amazing.
yeah, like we need it's kind of like if you go to a fucking Metallica concert, you're not gonna stay quiet, you know what I mean? You're gonna scream, you're gonna yell, you're gonna fucking punch some people if you're in the mosh pit. You know what I mean? You're like interactive. Like if you stayed quiet, if nobody cheered, nobody screamed at a Metallica concert, like how, like the
Yeah, or any
singers,
concert for that matter, right?
they would have to put, like they're not receiving any energy from you, so you're draining their energy, you know what I mean? It's just
Mhm.
I don't know if you guys are gonna understand this, but I mean, if you're a performer, I'm pretty
I'm
sure
sh-
you know.
I'm sure you guys have anybody that's been in a concert and when you clap or applaud, it just depends on the thing. You're giving that. Just imagine that energy that swells up from an audience, even from applauding. It's
Mm-hmm.
amazing when everybody does
Yes.
it.
Oh my goodness,
So I mean,
yes.
that's like their fuel. That's a dancer's fuel. That's
Mm-hmm.
that the fuel
Yeah,
you give them energy.
that is the fuel that I run on, is the clapping, the yelling, the screaming, that it because it makes it interactive. Not only am I dancing for you, but you are reciprocating by applauding, and so I receive something from it as well. You know what I mean?
So a
It's
mariachi, like a folklorico show, is like almost an interactive show. You want to give that like
yes, you
that
want to get
energy, and then it's
loud,
like
you want to fucking
yeah,
scream, you want to, yes.
and
Imagine
throw back some
yourself,
tequila shots.
yes. Oh my God. Yes. I've seen um so when Los Tigres came back together, and then we danced at the crypto. And when we in like we came out with El Son de la Negra, and when we came out, the entire place just exploded. Everybody was yelling, whistling, and then as I'm down, like the people in the front row, they're like taking shots, and like this makes me feel like, yes, you're enjoying it, you're enjoying my performance. And I love to see the audience like really just fucking, like some of them get out of their seats and start dancing. It's just like it's so, I don't know, like I really get that runner's high that people, I get that.
Yeah,
Like I
I
get that.
bet.
Like ecstasy feeling when I perform, because especially when, you have everybody explodes, the 50,000 people explode to see you dance, and like they're just excited, and it's just like, wow, it's very, I don't know, there's no better feeling than that. Like
So
that's why I love performing, because of that. I get that runner's high.
I'm gonna say to y'all, if you ever had a folklorico show, give them energy so they can perform for y'all. And this has been a public service announcement of what happened, so that you guys
What
all
you
know what to
should
do
do,
and what you should do.
you should do, if you're at a Mexican event, like cheering, clapping, yelling is all acceptable. It's not a play. You shouldn't stay quiet. You know what I mean? Because
Oh
for
man,
us, if you stay quiet, we're thinking like, oh shit, they're not liking this. Nobody's cheering. We start thinking like, fuck, we're not performing well, or I don't know, we start to get in our heads. So, but
yeah.
it's just because we want, like, as a dancer, and especially dancing folkloric Mexican folkloric dances, you want, me as a dancer, I want people to, especially if you're not Mexican, to see what our culture is like, because it's so rich. It's got so much music, so much dancing, so many colors. It's just very vibrant, and it's just like, and I want to share that with people, because it's like, oh my God, it's like the best thing in the world. You know what I mean? But
Mm.
that's just me.
Well, I know you mentioned Luis earlier, and when we were speaking about, she was speaking about Luis Garza, who,
Yes.
if you guys have followed our shows, we did a three-part series with Luis Garza on his artwork. And what happened this weekend? Well, as you know, Lala's been doing her performances, but she took a day off to go support Luis Garza at the premiere of his documentary. Is a short documentary, is a prelude to the feature-length film at the Downtown LA Film Festival. So we were there
And
Saturday to
film
support the
the film is
filmmakers.
called Razón de Ser.
Razon de Ser.
And
And
in English, it would be translated like the reason of being, like, kind of, sort
mm,
of. But anyway, it's called Razón de Ser. If you guys please look it up, it's freaking amazing. Like, he is so soft spoken, but just what he says is so powerful. And just the fact that he, was, well, okay. So we went to the, the film
oh, we went to
festival.
the
We went to the film festival, then we went to the after party at this Japanese restaurant, which was delicious. And then we went to his apartment, and like, he showed me, like, he has just so many photos, and I was so, I mean, I'm just
it was
looking at
yeah.
his, like, just books and books and books of photos,
He was
and
gracious enough to share his whole catalog of unpublished works, as well as
yes,
published works, but
yes,
unpublished stuff. So we're
unpublished,
like, oh my star, look at these images. It's amazing.
yes,
Um,
and then
I mean,
some
that
of
wasn't even
them,
scratching the surface. It was
and
just not even scratching the
once
surface.
again, if you guys didn't listen to the three-part, he is a photographer, and he was around in the 60s. He got hired by like a news, like a magazine or newspaper, what, like a magazine, no? Or
La Raza magazine,
La
and
Raza magazine, to document the movements with the Chicano movement. And
mm,
so um yeah, so we're at his apartment, and he's showing me like all this photos, and I'm just like, ugh. I mean, some of them are so, well, scary, because there's some, in the riots where people were like laying on the floor bleeding and stuff, and it's just like, holy crap, like, he was there, he took photos, and I just was like, what the fuck. And then, like, the some of the photos that I saw, that were they were just like, like Nazi movement, like just like, and I was like,
Yeah.
bro, weren't you scared to like be there? Like I would have fucking shit my pants. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, what I found was scary about like some of those other images was that now those images that were taken in an area where it's like predominantly Latino now. So like a lot of those folks have moved out, but at that time, I mean, there was enough of a right wing white power, white supremacy movement, and they were showing their swastikas and white power signs and things like that. So it's pretty scary to see at a time where like even at that time it's just like wait a second, that was there, that was in this city, this was in this city, this was right, because today you wouldn't really expect that because of the majority, like Los Angeles is like 70% Latino, like in the county. So we're a
well,
big
now it is
population.
apparently,
Now
but
it is.
according to the photos that I saw, I was like, there was white people, there was like white supremacy here in LA. Like how, I mean, I could not even imagine that now because of, how um diverse we are here in LA. There's just everything, everyone from every kind of country, and then you have like little sub areas. Like you go to Little Armenia, you go to Little Bangladesh, you go to Little Tokyo, like, so I don't know. I'm just so used to, I guess, having the ability to go, to all these like little towns in LA to experience that culture, their food, etc. And but what I haven't had an experience of is going to like little Nazi land. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, no, 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 no.
like
Yeah, no,
there's
that would
no
be kind of crazy. Like,
so for me, seeing
wait,
those
wait.
photos,
I mean,
Nazilandia.
yeah, no, no. Well, I mean, it it's kind of strange to say like, well, what is your culture? What do you find is your cuisine? I never thought about that. What is the like white Anglo-Saxon or whatever? What is the like? Is there a quiz like? Not that I care or want to know,
I'm
but
curious.
you know
What
what
is
I'm
a
you know
cuisine?
what
What is an American? I guess hamburgers,
uh,
maybe.
hamburgers, hot dog, is that like the all American cuisine? But you know what I was thinking also about that time? Because now if you hear of like people doing like a white
Maybe
supremacy rally,
meatloaf. Is meatloaf like an American thing?
no, it is an American thing, but it's also it's because of the meatloaf was created during the the Great Depression because they needed to make meat go further, so they added bread and all that stuff to make the so everything in like the Depression era, even though it's American, it was because of Depression. So those are foods that
But I mean, I'm assuming that this is like an American thing. I don't think they have meatloaf anywhere else.
no, I mean, I guess it would be the American thing. I don't know what you would call it, and I don't know what you would do. Like in Mexico, you know what? It's
Americans,
interesting.
uh,
Americans put bread in their
please,
meatloaf.
please get back to us and let us know what your food is.
Oh my God,
Like what your, I don't know.
what is the quintessential? I mean, I should
Yeah,
know this. I mean, what is the
you're
quintessential like American dish? Would be a hamburger. Well, you know, hamburger. People would say
Americans,
pizza.
please get back at us. Email us or
Oh
messages
my
on our
stars.
Instagram. Like, I'm curious. Like, I
I
really
mean, but going back to those images, I know they were kind of shocking,
don't.
but today in
Not kind
today's
of. They were
they were
extremely shocking.
shocking.
I've and
But
the signs that they had, like just such racist signs. And then I realized like I am such a fucking millennial. Like
yeah, it's not
I
politically correct to do that. Like you
yes,
wouldn't have to.
exactly. I'm thinking like what? Like in my mind, it doesn't fit like that kind of wording on a sign. Like
But
I'm just
if you
like,
think about
oh my God, this is so unacceptable. But like that's me being a millennial. But he's, this photograph was taken in the 60s,
70s, early 70s, but
early 70s.
it's not
Yes.
if in today's age, if a group like that were to show up and do a rally somewhere, you're going to have a counter rally, you know? And so you have like two people. So if you hear about people showing up like that, there are people out there like that still, but they're getting battled by like people are contesting their words, you know, like they're against racism. So like wherever you have like a white like parade or something like that, you have a counter rally or people showing up against that, and there's usually a fight, and it gets broken
On
up, and then that's that.
honestly, I know this is gonna
I don't
sound
know.
weird, but I kind of want to talk to a person who's like racist like that. I really am just
Um,
curious to find out like what
why?
is going in their
Why?
head. What is going on in their head? Okay, so because I was talking to Luis about this and I was just like, and he's like, what's wrong? And I was just like, I am fucking speechless. And then and I said, how did you feel? Or da, da, da. And he said, you know what? He said, I didn't feel scared. I didn't feel angry. He said, because I am just documenting this. But what did cross my mind was what happened in your life that you turned out to be this hatred, like that you have so much hatred. And so he told me, really, what I was thinking was like, what happened in your life to make you think this way? And then that he gave me this perspective of like, holy fuck, yeah, they probably do have a story that says how they ended up, you know,
Why? There's a reason why.
yes. And he opened that curiosity in my mind of like, well, now I want to interview someone, like I want to find out why, just because like I don't have those feelings. So I want to find out why or how that what is their mind process to come to those conclusions. You know what I mean?
Mm.
I'm just curious from like this psychological aspect of it. I don't know.
Well,
It,
let's. I
it
mean,
sounds crazy.
I
I know it sounds crazy. I mean, I'm pretty sure
maybe,
like,
maybe that'll happen. Maybe somebody will want to come on and talk. I'm sure they always want a platform, but I don't know if that's, I,
yeah, and it's scary
I
because don't I don't
there's so
condone
much.
I don't
Yeah.
condone anything that they're about, but I like an inner me just wants to interview them because I want to know
Now let me ask you,
why do they
Lala,
hate so much, like why. No
because
entiendo.
yeah,
No
because
Nintendo.
no Nintendo. I mean, what you saw was like the white fascist, like the white kind of,
White
whatever
supremacy,
that the
white
white supremacy
power.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
But the racism now is multicultural. Like it's not black and white anymore. What you saw there, if I'm trying to think of like the broader scheme of the whole planet now, because we're so connected with social media and the news and everything that is afforded to us in this day and age with technology, you see that, hey, you know, if it wasn't white power, white racism, it's going to be something in another culture. You see how people hate throughout when you start learning history, you can understand that racism just doesn't come in one color or one form or one shape. There's all kinds. So, um, and it's very broad and it's across cultures. And I guess that's why wars are always started and, people are always fighting. And it's not really simple,
But
but we can zoom into that. We
I
can
go
zoom in
back,
and kind of
I
get,
go back to what Luis Garza said to me. He said, even though he had every right to feel offended, he just as a photographer, and this is his subject, that he's taking a photo of, he's just like, what happened? Like, I want to see your story of what, because he was, and if you guys look at, the release of, his documentary, he's a storyteller. And so in order to find out, like, but he's not judgmental of what stories he's just gonna say all the stories. And it's not to say, he's supporting this. It's just like he's just what he
he was
posed
there and he took
he
it.
posed this question to me. he said, because I asked him this, I'm like, dude, didn't you feel offended or angry or whatever? And he said, no, I just made me curious. Like, what happened to you to end up here, you know? Like, kind of like, oh, pobrecito, necesita un abrazo. You know, like he needs a hug. That
Needs a
guy
hug.
needs a hug because he hates a lot. But he's so compassionate and loving and just like, oh my God, like he's such a wonderful man. Like I wow. And it just I'm still very like amazed
I,
and like starstruck, like that
yeah.
he talks to me.
And I want to take out a moment to thank Radium 88 and Melissa Richardson Banks
Holla.
um, to bringing all this together to actually have this and kind of share the works, at least putting it in film format is a form of communication to share to the masses so we can actually learn more about Luis um, and get his work put out there. His work's currently at the, touring a wheelchair tour across the country at different museums, his photos and stills, but right now it's in Cheech Marin's museum in Riverside. And we'll
Oh,
we'll
okay.
we'll post that. It's the we'll actually post that, and you guys can find out where that is. And um, but we saw the film, and going back to like Radium 88, Heather and Alessandro, who we had on the show too. They were very gracious and bringing them to us, and we having to talk to them, getting to talk to them. But we went to the show. We went to the Downtown LA Film Festival, and we saw other films. Not, their film wasn't the only film, but we saw a few interesting films. Some not so much interesting. I mean, they were all interesting because you got picked, but you always have your opinions. Then you kind of see like, oh well, that wasn't as fun as that one, but so you get a range of movies.
What was the name of the one that I really liked, the really funny one? The brothers, ¿cómo se llaman? Something
Oh,
brothers?
the Ortega brothers had
Ortega
a
brothers.
shout out to the
Okay,
Ortega brothers for
yes.
giving us a little Theo comedy.
Dude, honestly, I laughed so hard at their like little short film. It was just so like typical, just I don't know. It was fucking hilarious. Like I laughed super hard. And then also the first one that came out with which is Sandra's friend, ¿cómo se llama?
Oh,
The one with the
the confessions.
confessions,
Oh
confessions.
yeah,
Oh my God.
and the other one is Así es la vida. That's the way life is. I think that's the name
Yes.
of the Ortega brothers.
Yes. I,
Yeah.
it, it just like, oh my God. I don't know. They had really, really, really good films. Like those two were my favorite, you know. Like I
Confessions and
Confessions. And
Así es la
who is
vida.
the one that who directed Confessions? Yvette Vargas.
She,
And she's the one that did
confessions.
Confessions. It was just freaking amazing. Just I was and it was the first one that came out and I was just like, oh my God, like what is like, it just it, I love when you watch a film and it really grabs you. You know what I mean? And like that one really grabbed me and also Así es la vida.
You know, it's a fun way to communicate with films. I know all those filmmakers and all the artists. It's not an easy thing to produce, even 15 minutes, 20 minutes. It's a long road to even do that, and it takes money and time, and it takes a village really. So congrats out to all the filmmakers out there on the Latino shorts blocks. It was all Latino films, all Latino filmmakers. But there are Downtown LA Film Festival obviously had more shows other than the shorts, but that was we're supporting our friends from Radium 88 and Louis C. Garza on the show. And hopefully we'll continue to see the progress, and as the port as his film as his Luis's images travel the country, we'll keep you updated. Maybe it'll hit your town one day. But right now, you can see his stuff in Riverside Museum, Cheech's Museum, and we'll go ahead and add that to our links so you guys can find that.
It was just to be in the presence of like these people who really pour themselves into their artwork. And like in the beginning they were talking about like how they get funding, and like there's a lot of programs and grants that they apply for, and so it's not easy. Like I didn't, because I don't come from the movie world, so I haven't known until right now, like having this podcast with Rich and then seeing his circles. I am like, wow, like it costs this much. And I'm like, well, why does it cost this much? And then they like break down like, well, we got to pay these people and this and this and that. And I'm like, fuck. Okay. Yeah. Now I understand, like, but I never understood this because I don't come from the movie industry. So I was just, I'm a little green.
It's okay. You know, films are films, dancing films. It's all art. It's all the way we express ourselves. Photographs, like Louis, it's the way he's expressing himself, is what he's showing, is what he's giving back to the community. And I think that's what's really important. Is that every one of those filmmakers, they're actually giving back to the community. They're telling us stories. They're entertaining us, and they're showing what could be if they do something more with their stuff. Much like Razon said, um, you know, it's a prelude to feature length feature. So that, is like under 15 minutes, but it's still, they got a long way to go. And, they're looking for funding and grants and things to do the full length feature and get that finished. So that would be amazing. So, it's always a struggle. And much like any artist, as we've spoken about before, once you do your art, sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it isn't. I mean,
I
hopefully.
mean, we're not rich like at all. I'm like super far from it. However, I survive and I feel comfortable. I live comfortably. I am not like, set up or nothing, but
You get to
I
dance.
I love doing what I do. Like I wouldn't like yeah, it's a harder road, it's a harder path, and it's definitely filled with struggles and trials and tribulations. But the quality of life that I live, it's so rewarding because I'm doing what I fucking want to do. Yes, I'm not rich, but I'm doing what I love to do. You know what I mean? Like I
Look at
think
her
that's
face,
that's
folks.
such a good exchange in my, I know, right? Like for like if you guys aren't watching this, then I would suggest turn on your on Spotify. You can actually see the video. If you have to change your settings, and then you can also watch us on YouTube if you want to. But anyway, yeah, like I don't know. I guess I missed the class of capitalism in school, and I went with the harder route. However, it's super rewarding because like I said, when I went out to perform today, and it wasn't like huge venue, it was like a small event, but it was jam-packed and everybody was so appreciative and just, if I can, my job is to provide entertainment for people and they feel a connection. They feel they they love it because we're dancing regions from their homeland, and so they feel this like yearning of and loving of
Home.
mother country.
Yeah.
I just I don't know. And then it's for the people who aren't Mexican, I love to show you like this is my culture. Look at how vibrant and happy and sad, and it has all kinds of things, but it's full of everything, like highs and lows and this and that. It's just very bright and colorful, and yes, it has like loud screaming, and it just varies, and I love it. I don't know. I love to show people my culture, basically.
Oh wow. Well, we're gonna hopefully you can share some of that, some of the videos, maybe get some permission from some folks and share some of your dance videos. And I know we've talked about this before, but it'd be kind of lovely to see a Dia de los Muertos clip of some sort, even if it's for 30 seconds or something. We'll just pop it on there, or maybe even you'll find it on our website, and we'll have the clip posted there for y'all to see.
I'll try to
Um,
see if we can, because there was people there who were like designated to record, and people always like, "Oh, how come you don't record?" I'm like, "Because I'm dancing. I can't
like, how am I gonna do a
record."
selfie? Dancing with a selfie?
Yeah, no, yeah, I
It
can't. So
just
that's
doesn't
why like
happen.
it's really like I try to have, but like when we do concerts, we like unless the concert goers post it on Instagram and then I find it and then I message them and then I'm like, "Hey, do you mind sending this to me?" Like that's how we get videos, is like by going through the social media and the hashtags, and when you tag the location. And so we try to search for videos because we don't have like a camera person that comes with us and records us, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so we have to rely on the concert goers to provide us with, you video and photo images of our performances.
It's work and fun. Work and fun.
For the
Joy,
Mexican people,
delight,
they
happiness.
they have a face of nostalgia and love for the music, for the culture, for their roots, and even if they're, Mexican American, their parents instill this in them. And so they feel the nostalgia, they feel, you know what I mean? And to see them, I'm in the um on the stage, and I'm looking at these faces of the people in the audience, and when I see that sparkle in their eye, I'm like, yes, I did my job. Like that's what I thrive, like that's what I like. I don't know, that's what I love most,
Yeah,
is seeing
amazing.
the audience faces when they're just like in awe and just screaming and just passionate about our dances.
Wow. What are we gonna do next? It seems like, I guess this is the busiest time of the year for y'all. So you'll be dancing,
Yeah.
dancing, and dancing for
Well,
holiday parties and holiday
we
things.
kind of just finished the peak for, and then we have like a little break in November, like like beginning November, like the first week, and then all of October, it's like jam packed because of, Dia de los Muertos events and stuff. But then we get like a little pause. And so within this pause that we're gonna try not to get so many gigs, is so that we can rehearse, because we usually have like a year end uh the concert events with the mariachi, like a full feature. And so the whole dance company, we get a venue, and we sell tickets, and it's just basically just us. Like, we are not the opening act, we're not the backup dancers. Like, this is just featuring us and the mariachi. This is like our show, our event.
Hopefully we'll get to see some in all that, because it'd be nice to explore and share folklorical and foreign dance and that art to the world. So that's what happened this week. Lala's dancing, went to saw a film festival, hung out with Luisi Garza and friends. And maybe we'll post some pictures for y'all to see and support,
Well,
support the
I
photos,
had
support the
posted
film.
some photos on our Instagram. It's What Happened podcast. Yeah, so you guys want to see pictures, I've posted some. I'm gonna post some more, but I didn't have a chance because I had this gig, and so I was just like,
She's working. She's working her butt off, literally.
well, it's just like when you're an artist, you have to just fucking work like 10 different part-time jobs. and I'm not complaining. I actually love all the jobs that I do, you know. It's like I'm also working as a part-time like assistant, like administrative
Assistant.
assistant, you know, and so it's just like, and you know, it's just like, well, you know,
You
you
do
do
what
what
you got to do.
you do what you got to do. But
Well,
I love it. And I just love the fact that I have the freedom to still sustain myself. I have my apartment, have a cat, um, pay my bills, you know, comfortably, live comfortably, and do what I'm passionate about. You know, like I fucking love dancing, you know. I love
and ho- and I'm
folklorico
hoping that
since I was a little 5 year old, 3 year old, whatever, you know. This has been my jam since I was a little kid. And so not very many people have the opportunity to actually like work in what they love to do, you know, and still live in off of it, you know, like not just like as a hobby, but you actually make a living off of it. Like it feels fucking
it's
amazing.
sustaining you. You know,
Yes. And I get to do what the fuck I love to do, you know? You're like, oh my God, like how lucky am I? I
very
don't know.
lucky, fortunate.
I just feel really fortunate, really blessed, you know, that I have the support system of my co-dancers and, you know, Terry, who is the director of Folklorico Revolucion. She's fucking amazing. And so when I got plugged into your community, because your community is different, you know, because I'm plugged into like the dance and music world, and you're plugged into like the movie world. And so I've recently have gotten to experience your like little clicks, you know what I mean? Like,
Well, we're just scratching the surface.
no, but I mean,
Yeah.
it just like, oh wow, like I didn't know what the movie world look like or operated, or you know what I mean. And
Hmm.
so I it's like I get um a glimpse into your life and what you go through, you know, because you know, like how I'm saying what I go through because I live in this dance world, you know. It's just, I don't know.
Well, you never know. One day we might show up there with three cameras and just make a show out of it. Like I keep. It's not a threat.
Oh,
It's going to
oh
happen
my
one day. We'll
God.
we'll work it out.
Maybe for the end of the year, our showcase. We're gonna cover Folklorico Revolucion end of the year showcase. So yeah, stay tuned, folks.
Oh my stars! Is our production company going to
I've
do this?
made a decision,
If
executive
if
decision.
I think I think we got to talk about this off podcast, but let's talk about that because
I've made an executive decision. We're gonna make it happen. This is happening,
oh
okay?
okay, sounds good.
I don't
Sounds
know
good. We
how,
need to
but
have a
we're gonna figure it out.
figure out how to fund it, shoot it, edit it, and post it. You know, it'd be interesting. It'd be nice to kind of get like history. Yeah, we could talk about the story, and
Actually,
it has its whole thing.
yeah, I need to update our Patreon, and I haven't been like super on point. Like you know, I'm the one in charge of doing our social medias and being in charge of our Patreon, and I haven't, just because I've been so crazy busy. But I'm gonna update our Patreon, so if you guys want to support us, and you know, help us to create this content that I mean, I think it's important for you guys who like whatever it is that we talk about, our nonsense. But yeah, like we would appreciate whatever support, and I'm gonna update it today or tomorrow, and then I'll promote it a little bit
Amazing.
more. Sorry guys, it's just like, you know, when I get crazy busy, like I kind of drop the ball and don't.
We'll get
post, and so like if I'm not posting, that isn't me. Like it's Rich, he's in charge of the editing and I'm supposed to be in charge of the marketing and social medias and all that crap. And so, so I'm the one who drops the ball, and
No,
yeah,
it's all good.
it'll
We
get
can
better.
play. It'll get better. I say we're just starting. Cut to 3 years later if we're still doing this. But
I hope so. I
yeah,
mean,
no, it's just the
I
evolution of things to come.
yes.
You
Well,
just keep evolving.
I hope. I like hope.
Una mariposa como tus ojos.
No, this is
You guys
like a
don't see it's like
flower. It's my
no,
eye
I'm
is a
talking about your
flower.
eyelash.
Oh, my eyelashes. Yeah, I've got my super, they're fox whatever chingalera. I don't know what, but they're super long. If you guys are looking at the video of this, like I'm doing a
You can see.
profile and you can see the length of my long ass lashes.
And that's your cat Smook.
And I'm wearing blue contacts just cuz. Oh, and that's my kitty. You guys can see my kitty. Samuk. That's Samuk. Hi Samuk. Hi Samuk. Gata bonita. Hi Samuk. That's my baby. He's called Samuk Champe for the location in Guatemala that I love. Like I fell in love with that place. It's so magical. And so anyway, he reminded me of that. So I named him Samuk Champe. But yeah, that's my
Amazing.
kitty. And then, in the background is my friend Ladina's artwork. Shout outs to Casa de Arte in Guanacaste, Costa Rica, in Nicoya. And
And I
yeah.
have Lala's artwork behind me. Shout out to Lala there for her
Yeah, shout
image.
out to my photography from what is that, Chichen Itza? Maybe the next episode we could be about the the parody of the song
Oh, that's well,
that Rich is helping
we are
to
getting
create.
involved with another production. We're doing little collabs, and Lala and I have been. Uh, we actually helped out working on a parody video with the comedian George Perez. That's coming up. So when that's ready, we'll definitely share that with you all, and bigger
But we
things to
definitely
come.
want to let you guys know on, this is like a future project, and so we want you guys to stay tuned in to, because it's fucking funny as fuck, dude. Um like I don't know if we're allowed to talk about it, but like just
Taco about it.
taco about it.
Well, I think we could say that it is it's tacos, the song parodying.
I
Uh,
mean, tell us, kind of give everybody kind of a preview if you can of like just
you
a
know what?
small little
Maybe
preview of,
I'm gonna give you guys a.
he's just
Lala
so
has a
he's
Lala
working
has a
with a
cameo in it.
comedian. He's working with this comedian. And what is his name?
His name is George Perez. He's a comedian, and he's been all over the country. He's well known. If you see him and you listen to his comedy, you'll know what I'm talking about. However, I'm thinking because of what's going on, I really shouldn't be talking about the actual song that we're doing just
Yeah,
because of
yeah,
the
yeah.
some of the legal things. But you
Yeah,
know
the
what?
logistics
When
and
uh,
legalities
when
of it.
when
We
it's ready
kind
to
of
come, we're gonna blow this shit
we
up.
ran into like a little,
A snafu,
yeah, like a little quirk
little quirk and
that
rub,
we're
but
trying to, well, not me. I'm not doing a goddamn thing. What I did was just take photos of, you know, the video, the music video shoot, like kind of like behind the scenes. But I just wanted to share like me doing this photography thing. I fucking had so much fun because, they're all comedians. Like all these dudes, like they're fucking funny as fuck. And so like it didn't even feel like work, like yeah, I was hired to take photographs and stuff of this video shoot, and it's just like, but it just was so hilarious. Like I kept laughing nonstop, like as I'm taking photos, and I'm just like, me estoy carcajeando, you know, I'm just like, it was
When
just
you
like
have
the
fun,
funnest. Yeah.
it's like when you like what we were saying earlier, when you're enjoying what you do, it doesn't seem like work. And that's kind of nice
Oh
when it
my God.
happens.
And that, I got paid to just take photographs of these really funny cats. You know what I mean? Just like, yo, this is the shit. That's what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Like, but
But this week is going to be a whole new week. We're going to have
yes.
a kind of a, I mean, we're kind of ending the year, and I think we're going to powwow and go over like there are a lot of things, a lot of changes are going to happen, a lot of good things are going to happen. We're going to do some collaborations, and we're still finding our way, but we're making our way. We'll look forward to making more episodes for you guys, and
Yeah.
we'll
And
be
if you
here to do
guys
it again.
have any suggestions, or if you guys, want us to talk about a particular subject, or if you want to comment or give us lecture us on something we didn't know about, let us know.
We can always
I
figure something out on
I
what
felt
happened.
like I learned so much this weekend just with all the events that I've been in this whole week. It's just like, we did an event for Amal, little Amal, which is
Mm,
the marionette, the giant marionette that has been traveling the world, um, regarding children who die,
mm,
um, and when the refugees and trying to cross borders into other countries as refugees. So one of the events that I did was to receive little Amal, which is this marionette that has been traveling all over the world, and it's just to raise awareness of refugees. Then we had an altar with kids. They're Syrian kids, Syrian refugees. And we were performing at this event and we had to walk up to the altar and I almost cried, like almost cried, because the children are dying. And I understand people get mad about, whatever controversy is going on. But I saw an altar full of children that are the victims of this hatred and not
wars.
accepting other people and,
Mm,
and rejecting cultures and their kids, their baby. There was pictures of babies, bro, like little babies. And I was just so, all of us, like I could see Terry and she was just like, parpadeando, like, oh, like not to cry, don't cry, because we're performing. And it was just, and it's this giant marionette, and her face is like, I don't know. Anyway, I just wanted to mention that. Um,
well, we'll put up some information on that too. It's
yes,
really important
because I
for us to
felt that it
recognize
was
that.
so important, and especially because, I mean, I was in a refugee, but you know, I had to cross borders and I had to come to this country and deal with, it's just like culture shock and, the kids, they didn't ask to move. They didn't, it's not their fault that their country is fucked up and then they have to leave it and go try to find refuge in this new country. And
Mm,
in that process, they get killed by the people who they're searching refuge with. It's just like, it's so heartbreaking. And then
wow,
that
that's
there are entities out there that exploit these people, and like
this
it's,
sounds like a whole other show that we can really touch upon. Like,
yeah.
I
No,
mean,
I
it's
just
not just
I
refuge.
just wanted to
Yeah,
mention it because I did perform at this event. I think it was like Thursday or Wednesday, I don't know. I've done so many performances this week. I'm like, I'm fucking twisted. I don't know. But I just wanted to mention it because I felt it's very important, especially with the things that are happening right now. Um, I think compassion is something that we just, I wanted to say. Like, maybe just have more
Put it out there.
compassion. Yeah. Like,
And let's all have some more
just have
compassion
more
this time of year.
compassion, please. Like, these
It's a
are
season
people.
for compassion.
Yeah, I was so moved by this event that, I'm thankful that we were invited to be a part of, that we led this marionette that is iconic in the world. Like, she has traveled the world. And so to be a part of that, I just felt so, and especially me being an immigrant as well. Like, I know what it feels like to move into another country, and you're like, fuck, and then you encounter people who hate you, and you don't know why. And I was a kid, and so that's why I connected so much, because as a kid you're like, the fuck, like, you know what I mean? You don't understand what is happening and why it's happening, because you don't understand politics, and so these poor kids that die, and they don't even understand because they don't understand politics. Anyway, I just wanted to bring awareness to this marionette that's traveling. It was in San Diego, and I don't know where it's going right now, but it was here in LA, and then
Well,
anyway.
let's follow that marionette. Let's post that and
Yeah,
let
I,
you
I
guys all
just
be
wanted
aware
to
of that.
bring awareness, and just because you don't understand a certain culture, don't knock them down. Just try to be more open and understanding, and just have more compassion for the children who are dying, and they don't even know why, because they don't understand politics. You know what I mean? So it's just like, oy.
Right, right.
Anyway, yeah,
Wow.
with that, we wrap it up.
And with that, we'll wrap it up. Not to leave on a down note,
I
but we'll
know,
be back.
I'm
We'll be back
sorry.
again. So,
On a positive
uh,
note, please um visit our Patreon. And if you want us to put like any kind of special content, like, please email us at stories@whathahappened.com, which it's gonna be all posted in our handles. Richard figured out how to put all that shit in our
I
description.
didn't. We got somebody to do it for us.
Ah,
But
vale.
or I did, or it's a group effort here.
Or visit us at whathahappened.com, and which will
Yes.
have other information to everything that we're doing. So yeah. But
All right.
please,
This is Richmo.
if you guys
Oh,
like our
sorry.
content, support us. This is Lala signing
This is
out.
Richmo. Bye-bye.
And this was what happened
What
this
happened?
weekend and week. Ciao, guys. See you guys
Bye.
next week. To follow us, you can go to whathahappened.com for a link to all of our social media and to read our bios.
If you would like us to read your story,
May it be funny or scary or just some hot cheese mix.
please email us at stories@whathahappened.com.